All right, welcome to part 2 on the cheapest possible build on a 400EX. So this is a 2000 Honda 400EX. As you guys know, last video, we picked this thing up for, I think it was 1,200 bucks. And the top end on it was pretty shot. The cylinder was all scratched. Where is it over here? And the piston was pretty crappy. So we ended up getting the cheapest cylinder off of eBay. I believe it was a niche kit. And then we ended up getting the cheapest timing chain, the cheapest guides. Everything on this is really cheap. The chain and sprockets were like 20 bucks. Everything was super cheap on it. We got a brand new battery from Amazon. Where is that? Right here. Which the reviews were amazing on it. And it was only like 30 bucks compared to what I usually spend, like 65. So we'll see if that works today as well. And then we'll see if this thing starts up and runs. And then we're testing this thing out. So we're gonna ride it hard, see if any of these parts, these cheap parts, fail on it. And we'll see if the cheap parts are worth buying. I get asked all the time, you know, will cheap parts work? And today we're gonna find out. So without further ado, let's jump into the video and complete this build. We've got this part that came right here. We were missing the decompression pin and spring. So that goes right in there. So let's get that installed, then we can work on getting the rest of the top end done here. All right, so the spring and the pin go right in here. Hopefully that goes in there. Yep, and the pin, there's a hollow part and a non-hollow part. Hollow part goes in here. And for some reason, seems like the pin is too big. No, buddy. That's weird. The pin's getting stuck in there, so that's a problem. That pin was supposed to work for, yeah, I think it was like 1998 and up, so. The pin was like 8 bucks, I guess it wasn't that cheap, but it should work. All right, so I ended up taking a Dremel tool with a piece of sandpaper on it and going around the pin, and now it pushes down and comes up right away. So, pin is working perfectly in there. So that's fixed, but yeah, it was definitely the wrong type of pin for that. All right, we gotta get this thing to top dead center. So there's like a little line right here with a T. That'll be top dead center. All right, let's see if we can get her there. The spark plug in? Oh yeah, the spark plug's in. That's why it has such good compression. It's like, what the heck? Oh, there we go. And it's right there. It's a very visible T. You guys can probably see it without even the flashlight. See it? T with a line right there. All right, that's top dead center. Let's try to get the cam in next. Just make sure that pin's still going up and down here. Looking good. I oiled it up just to make sure, but we're still good. All right, let's get that cam in. All right, so when you're putting the cam in, these are the lobes right here. You want those to face down. And you're gonna have a line right there, a line right there, and a line right there. Those you want parallel this way with the surface of the head. And you want that line up and down. So your lobes will be pointing down. If they're pointing up like that, you've got the sprocket on wrong, or that line will not be pointing up. So let's just get this in here. Gonna have to take our sometimes it's a little tricky getting it in. Alright, then the bearings have to go in. This one goes in this side. Like that. And there's 2 pins that go on the side. Alright, so these are what the pins look like. They go on either side. I like to start out with this side first, it's a little bit easier. Push that one in there. And then with this side, you can actually lift up a little bit and get it to pop in there. Like I said, it's a little bit tricky getting these in. So you can lift up on that side of the can, you can't lift up on that side. And just a little tap. It should sink right in. Yep, there we go. Cool. And that's how you do the cam. Now coming over here, you want to make sure that you're good to go. So take a look at your lines. That line's pointing up. That line's parallel with this surface right here. That line is parallel with this surface, so timing is spot on. All right, so we're going to use this very cheap tensioner. I think it was like $3. It came in the kit with the timing chain and the guides, and the whole kit was like $20. So I'm guessing this thing was like $3, if that. So let's just quick test her out and see if she works before we install it. So let's see if it's spring activated here. And that's holding. That seems good. We're gonna compare it to the stock one. The stock one looks to be the same size. So for comparison, here we go. Let's see if it's the same length. This one's broken. The stock one's broken. So I think we found the culprit right here. This one is broken. Doesn't spring out, you see that? Should spring out like this one. But that's why this 400EX failed. And that's why he tore it down, because it was making a noise, I bet. And it was the cam chain. So I think he was going to replace the cam chain on this, and then got to the point where he tore it down and then decided not to. So that makes me feel better. At least it wasn't something in the bottom end, I don't think, at least. So I think this one was bad all along, and that was our problem. So just for comparison, this one doesn't even want to come out all the way, but very similar. So I guess we'll have to use the cheap one either way. So before we even put the cam chain on, it's actually pretty tight in there already, which is kind of weird. It won't spring out a ton because there's already tension on it. I'm going to take this little pin out, and it should rotate back here, but it doesn't look like there's much. There's like no slack in there. That's interesting. The cam chain's really tight. We're going to spin it around a couple times and see if it loosens up a bit. Well, this feels pretty good. The top, the cam chain feels good. See, there's just a little bit of play in there, which is perfect. All right, so these valve covers tend to leak a lot. So we are going to help it out with a little bit of silicone on there. So I just want to put a little bit of silicone. And then we'll put a gasket over that. But that just helps us seal a little bit better. I just know from experience that these covers always leak. For some reason they don't get a tight seal on there. So this doesn't have to be perfect, it's just you don't want it to leak at all. And usually it goes right here. It leaks out from right here. And a lot of times it leaks because the bolts are stripped out. So that's one of the reasons. Here is the gasket. And then we'll get the double pins in there as well. All right, cover is going on next here. And this should slide right on without any difficulty. The only thing that might be holding you up are the pins, which should be going in pretty good. And you want to install this cover with it at top dead center. Alright, that's perfectly tight. Alright, now we gotta find the bolts for it. Then we have to adjust the valves. Alright, we got the cover on. Let's adjust these valves. For the intake, we have to set them to 0.004 inches. Right here is 0.004. So this one needs to be adjusted a little bit. Alright. That was really on there. So we're just going to adjust it down a little bit until it grabs. I can just barely fit in there. So that feels pretty good right there. I'll tighten that up right there. Make sure we're still good. Perfect. One last tighten. That's perfect over there. This one needs to be tightened up a little bit. Same thing. Get that free. We're just going to tighten this guy up a little bit. Right there. Let's see if that's good. Perfect. One big tighten. There we go. And it should just slide in there. Perfect. All right, now we gotta do the exhaust at 0.005 inches. Let's get this old battery out of here. That's junk. We'll get the new battery in. It's just from Amazon. Pretty fast delivery. Like I said, it was super cheap. So we'll see if it works right out of the box like this. They said it came pre-charged, so we will see here. It's a little bit smaller than the other one. Looks good though. All right, battery is on. Let's see what happens when we turn the key. This is right here. Let's see if anything happens here. Turn the key. Oh yeah. Woo-hoo-hoo. We've got power. Let's see if we've got spark. All right, brand new NGK plug going on. All right, do we have spark? Let's see, turn it on. Oh yeah, we've got spark. Cool. Now we gotta get this carb cleaned out. Sitting right here. Clean this out, and then we've gotta get that clutch cover on yet. So quite a few more things to do before we can attempt the first start. And obviously we need to get oil in it as well. All right, time to look at the carburetor here. See what's going on with this. This one off as well. Oh man, it's stripped out. Dang it. Oh man. She was on there. It's pretty clean. Not too bad. Everything looks like it's in there. Let's see. So for the main, it's running a 152. That's stock. See, it's all clear, looks good. See what the pilot is on this thing. I believe pilot's 42 stock, if I remember correctly, or 40, or 38 maybe. So, yep, 38. So that's stock. Pilot jet is clear. All right, cool. Looks like somebody maybe cleaned this carburetor before they took it apart. It's all good. Yeah, it's looking really good. Let's see what the fuel screw is at. So the fuel screw's right over here. Somebody turns out. About 1.5. So we'll go ahead, blow this out with the air compressor and some carb clean, and that should do the trick. Then we'll reinstall that. All right, we're getting the pipe on next here. Alright, got the whole machine together except for the clutch side right there. Still waiting on the gasket. I actually ordered it and then threw it away accidentally because it came with a different package. I didn't realize it, so we're still waiting on that gasket. But I got it all wired up. It took forever, but now the neutral light works. The lights work. All the wiring was messed up on it, and it still cranks over, so we're good to go. The front plastics are really nice. The back ones, there's a small crack right here. And the seat has a couple rips in it right there, but nothing too serious. Doesn't look too bad. Then we got the pipe on there. It's got a little dent in it, but it'll be okay. So in a couple days that gasket's gonna be here and we'll finish this thing up and then attempt the first start. So that's the first look of it though. It's coming along. All right, it's about a week later. We finally got that gasket in and on, and then I realized that it didn't have the cap for the oil filter or the spring. So we had to order up the spring and the cap. That was another 30 bucks. And then an oil filter for it as well. So we've got all those things now. Let's finish up this build and do the first start. So we've got the cap right here. And then obviously we didn't have the bolts for it either, so I had to order up the bolts. And then here's the oil filter. So spring goes in. I'm gonna oil up that O-ring around here on the O-ring. These tend to leak a little bit too if that O-ring is shot. This one's brand new, so shouldn't leak. Oil filter, a little bit on there. So that goes on like that. So make sure that spring doesn't fall when you push that in. Okay. These are new bolts out. Alright, let's get some oil in this thing. Alright, so this thing takes 1.95 quarts if we're doing the filter change, which we are. Dumping some of this in there. All right, one more to go. Then we get to start this thing up for the first time. Hopefully it starts. I'll add the rest after we start it up. All right, who thinks it's gonna start here? I hope it does. We have spark, we have compression. I think we've got fuel going to it, so we should be good. All right, first start coming up. All right, getting some fresh non-ethanol fuel in there. Fire up here. Let's see. smoky. Oh yeah. All the old oil. I think there's a bunch of oil in the pipe too. She's a smoky girl. I think the pipe's just clogged with oil. So let's add the rest of the oil. And we'll go take this thing for a test drive. Sounds really good, actually. Look at all the stuff that came out of the pipe. That'll be fun to clean up. We just gotta clear this thing out now. Choke lever's wanting to come up every time I rev it, so hopefully that'll stay down. Still smoking pretty good. See if that goes away. We'll take it for a quick rip. She's still smoking. Running really good. The choke keeps on coming up though. That choke lever. Yeah, she's pretty smoky. good when that choke lever doesn't come up. Runs really strong. But she's still smoking. Must be a lot of oil in that pipe. It's getting less and less smoke, so hopefully that pipe clears out. Just shot a big flame out of here. Alright, running pretty good. It does shoot flames out of the exhaust, so hopefully we're not running too lean. It's not like we're running a big bore kit or anything. But no leaking at all. It's just smoking quite a bit out of the exhaust. And that choke lever likes to come up right here. You can see it. You see how loose that is? We gotta fix that. Tighten that down. I think she's broken in now after those rides. Instantly fires right back up. But yeah, I think it finally stopped smoking here. See if you guys can see any smoke. Alright, well this thing ran pretty good. It stopped smoking, so I think the pipe was just full of oil. But it finally stopped smoking out the back, so that was good. Let's check the oil one more time, now that it's cooled down. See what we get for a reading here. So kind of tell us if the oil pump is working or not. Oh yeah, looks like there's plenty of oil in there. Maybe add a little bit more. We're about halfway up still. So I might add a little bit more oil. But it's very clear. It looks good. So next video, we are going to ride this thing hard at the land and really, really, really test her out. We're just gonna ride this thing until it dies. So that's the plan for next video. I was going to do it this video, but it got too dark out and I didn't have enough time. Plus this video is already pretty long. So next video, we're gonna go hard on it and we'll probably ride it for a good couple hours and really, really beat on it and see all these cheap parts hold up. So it should be pretty interesting, but it started right up and idled perfectly. So far, they're doing their job. So I'm pretty pumped with it so far. Everything's looking good. It sounds really good too. The only thing we need to fix before the first ride on the land is that choke mechanism right here. That's just bouncing up. Every time you hit the throttle, it bounces up like right there and then chokes out. So I'm gonna fix that, and then this thing is going to be good to go. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video on this thing. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next one. And until next time, we are out.